So now we've got our heads on, we've got our valve train on, and we've got to get our oil pan on, our exhaust manifold on there with our turbo on it, and hopefully we'll get her fired up today. That's kind of the plan, but we'll see how it goes. Now I'm going to install this oil pan, and I don't like the pan gaskets. I've never understood. Well, I understood. It's a money thing, and this oil pan gasket, you can change the sides on it as far as the length, and you can make it fit multiples. Now, I have to look through here. That's not it. Find the ones that fit, and then it's a lovely piece it together type deal. Now this gasket right here goes on the bell housing on the bottom side back there where that surface will touch. I've already cleaned all that up. I've cleaned the bottom of the block. I have cleaned this oil pan gasket, or oil pan, as you can see. I'm just gonna start peeling all these out. So I think on this one we use, up here, we use these long ones in the middle. They go down each side. I think these short ones are for the 6-cylinder engines, if I'm not mistaken. That does look about right. Looks about right. Put our front one on here. Once I get it all lined out, I'll put a little bit of silicone, some stuff that we can use on the oil pan, and that just helps hold it on there where it's supposed to be at. I think and I'll also put a little bit in these joints, and that'll help hold it together. And then I believe that's got what I need out of that. Except for that right there. And then we also get with the kit a new copper ring for our drain plug. Permatex on there. There's oil pan gasket stuff. I just like to use it to hold that thing in place, because if you don't, it is a major task to get it on without it. And we'll also have to hold that one in place as well. So I'll check a few things out, get you set up so you can see installing this thing. We've got everything lined up. Got it over here by the tractor. It's kind of what I'm going to do right now with this is put my Permatex stuff on here. And again, this is to really hold this thing in place. I don't want to, I have to cut it off a little bit more. I don't want to get it on the inside lip. So I try to hold it to the outside. But I do have to fill these joints in here a little bit. So I put a very thin layer on. I'm gonna lay that one over the hole. put a couple spots on the front. I found that also helps hold it in line. Put a couple more spots down the back side there. Again, this is just to line it up, hold it in place. It helps me when installing. Put a little bit more right there. Just a little bit in on the inside, so I just kind of wipe it down. And of course I flip that thing when I set it off there. There we go. On the back side here, put a little bit more right in there. Corners. Smear it out a little bit. Let's get this installed. Lined up, all my holes lined up. I think these types of gaskets are the ones I dislike the most. They're one size fits all. Sometimes. You're working on them. It's a good little bit of moving them around sometimes to get them exactly where you want it at. All right, that's that. I'm going to get underneath, put some on to put that back gasket on there, and then we'll see if we can get this thing set up on here. All right, let's let this fun begin. Now, if you recall, when this thing comes out, it's almost touching on the front up here. Not on the hitch, on my steering axle here. Pivot. Sorry, I'm hitting you. I've already screwed my gasket up. Begin to wonder if I would be wise. I can't remember how I did it the last time. Let me slide a 4x4 underneath the front. I may have last time figured out that you couldn't put it on the oil pan and it needed to go on the block. To be quite honest with you, I can't remember exactly what I did when I did that. But I can slide it forward. And guys, I'm going to tell you, I believe that the best way to do this, I remember fighting that gasket there. The best way to do this is going to be to put my gasket on the block. I think I went through this same thing the last time, as I recall. Fun time. So let's get that done and then get back at it. All right, take 2 on this. Let's see if we can do it. Biggest problem this time is going to be that rear gasket back there. This thing's not going to want to slide up against it perfectly. Now, we get up so far, I'm probably going to have to catch it. Just don't have a gasket right here. Right there. There we go. I kind of need to hold it forward. Cotton. The block fell out. And I just wiped that gasket out. Well, maybe I just pulled it off there. Just pulled it off, didn't tear it. Put it line back up. Alright, get this block back in here. Do many more of these. I'm going to have to build a cradle to get specifically for these. Now, alright. You got to get it up in the front. No pressure on the front as you come up with the back. Oh. And I am in fact catching this gasket over here just a tad. Pull the wrinkle out of it. Be my biggest problem. Maybe I should have stuck it on the oil pan. Stick it right there for right now. Let's see if we can get this thing to roll up in there. So far it's staying in spot, but there it's sliding out. Okay. Use my hands to finish it out. Been one of the things I've been dreading ever so slightly. A small screwdriver here. Once got one started right there. I'm gonna try to get these 2 long ones in the back if I can. I just don't want to cut here. I've got a couple in it holding it. think I'm gonna let the pressure off with the jack. And get this out of the way and see if we can get up underneath there and do a little work. Might take you with me. Well, here's what we're looking at. And I'm just trying to get bolts in all around through here. Make sure my gasket's pretty good shape. Now I've got a couple of, this is a return steering line, pressure return line on the steering, or not a pressure return. And that one went right in, so good news on that. There we go. But it was this piece right here. See how that oil pan, because of this pin on this front axle bolster, I'll get you up here. So this piece right here, because of this pin on this front axle bolster, this daggone oil pan can't just slide straight up in there. It has to go up at an angle and cup up in there. So kind of a poor design for one that has a wide front. On a tricycle, it wouldn't have been a problem. All right, so I have got some more in. We'll see how it holds. Apparently my gasket moved just a smidge as we were getting it in there. So hopefully we'll have enough. See, those just don't want to catch, so give them a little tap. I'll cut through that. And then I've got these two in, going back that way. And got a couple to go in the front up here on this. And then we should be getting better. One right here. I think I've got the same problem with it. The gasket has shifted. And the gasket may not have shifted as much as it just didn't line up all the way around like I would like for it to. We had a few issues. I'll get these run up with the impact real quick, and I'm not putting any pressure on them. And then I'll see what the torque is on them. I'll let it go and charge my battery, but I ended up getting all the bolts in and getting them torqued, torque spec on all the bolts along the oil pan, going vertical are right at 40 foot-pounds. I did have to go back and pull these two out and put my bracket on there for my blow-by tube. I forgot that. Now the bolts going horizontal into the bell housing, I never really found a good torque spec for them. The only thing I saw close, I think, was the bolts they were talking about. They really didn't name them in the book, but about 80 foot-pounds. So that's what I end up putting on them. So while my battery was recharging, I did that, put my drain plugs in. I put the blow-by tube on up here, attached a wire here, retorqued that bolt. I've got to find my bolts for my compressor right here, where I had to loosen it to be able to get my valve cover and my heads out. So I've got to put those two bolts, one on each side, up through there. Well, we're back here on our 770. Got our new rubber hose on our oil return here. Took care of a few other things. I've got all the, everything's on it and back together except for I didn't put the air filter on yet. And I just wanted to start it and see, because when I put that air filter on there, it's going to block up, so I can't really tell if I've got any leaks. It's just going to block my view. So I plugged it in. It's a little cool today. I didn't want to take time to heat the whole shop up, so I did plug it in. We'll see if that helps a little bit. I'm going to try to bleed it out here. So I'm going to climb up in there and give it a whirl, and fingers crossed that it runs and we got no leaks. But I did get all the oil and everything put back in it. So let's see what we got here. Make sure it's in neutral. There it goes. Some fuel out of our line up here. I cracked the return line. We got some smoke. I don't see a lot of fuel coming out of it. Oh, there we go. I got a little bit run out of it now. So that's a good thing. So I'm going to stand here. I know I'm in neutral. Oh, got a little slap happy there. For a minute, we'll open the door. Walk around here and see if we see any leaks. Looks like I may have a fuel leak. Just looking at it. There right here. Yep, that's diesel fuel coming from my lines there. Before she gets too warmed up, we'll tighten those up. But it did run. I didn't hear any noises in it, so that's always a good thing. So let's see if we can tighten those. Evidently, I thought I tightened the fuel lines up when I put it on there. Maybe I didn't. We'll tighten them back up and see what we got. Holding good oil pressure, about 40 pounds. I don't hear any knocks or anything. The leak I had right there was, I had number 2 and number 3 that they were not quite tightened up as much as I thought I had them. I just had to put a little tweak on them, wiped everything down. Wanted to double check. I don't see any leaks on the other side. So next thing is just to get this air filter back on it, get all the sheet metal back on it, and get it out the door. And we're gonna call this project done for now. I need this space right here. I've got plenty more to get in here and get to working on. So thanks for watching along with us as we, shim that sleeve up. Showed you how to do some sleeve protrusion, how to check that. We pulled the number 4 piston, number 4 sleeve out, and again, shimmed it up, cleaned it all out, everything up. Put new head gaskets and everything back on it, and hopefully we get our sheet metal on it here. And this old case sheet metal is not fun to put on. Whole lot of bolts and everything, and it's not light, but I'll get that done and get it rolled out the door, and we've got a few more projects to roll in this shop and get them taken care of. So thanks for watching. Give me a like and a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you do something differently or really screwed something up, I don't care. Let me know. Thank you.